The Buffalo Bills just got critical injury updates ahead of their divisional matchup against the Denver Broncos. Yes, we are going to be playing the Denver Broncos on Saturday, but also in this episode today, I'm going to talk about a couple things with Josh Allen's injury, some of the other injuries, and actually just some things to be hopeful for or expectant of even going into this week, some things that we're going to have to watch, along with even just some highlights to some of these players who've just been playing incredibly well against the Jags and even later on this season that have been really good. We're going to break so many things down today. Stick around to the end. But with that, my name is Collin. This is Crack the Table. We are all Bills, no breaks, breaking down Buffalo Bills content every single day. Do me a favor, trying to get to 700 likes on this video. If you could help me out with that, that'd be awesome. Just smash that like button. But also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the community. Join the conversation down in the comments each and every day. Throw me a Go Bills if you would as well, but in all of it, let's get right into it. First and foremost, the big news, the hot off the press news that we just are hearing from Sean McDermott is truly that Ed Oliver, his 21-day window is back. This is massive. We did not expect this. Now, maybe there was some tea leaves being dropped here, and the context of this is he had the knee scope he had his knee cleaned out. He also had his bicep, hurt, torn, but he's been fighting all year to get back. This is a dude who could absolutely transform the front of our defense going into these last couple weeks. Could you imagine Deion Walker and Ed Oliver in the AFC Championship game, in the divisional round, or even the Super Bowl? These guys could absolutely dominate together. I'm stoked. We talked about this a couple days ago with Ed Oliver, that the only reason that they would, kind of tease the potential of his return is because it was possible. And this, in fact, shows us that it is possible. Now, we don't know if it's this week against the Broncos or next week against whoever we're going to play in the AFC Championship, but it's so important for us to keep this in mind. Also, Curtis Samuel is back. His practice window is now open as well, so we should see him back sooner rather than later, which is just really important, especially in light of this really bad Gabe Davis news. We know he put his body on the line for us yesterday. He put his body on the line for the team rather yesterday, and for all of us, Bills Mafia. But he tore his ACL. He got smoked in the knee. Terrible thing. He's on the Jaguars. He gets hurt. He's recovering. He comes to the Bills. We sign him to the practice squad. We sign him to the team. He plays. He contributes this year, even on some big key moments. But then in the playoff game, puts his body on the line. Just respect, and if you would, throw me down a respect for Gabe Davis down in the comments. Respect to this dude. He played an incredible game as much as he could, and he put his body on the line. Poyer out with a hammy, I assume, but week to week formally, I don't think he's going to be playing this week against the Broncos. And so from a depth chart perspective, we know that Hancock got in the game, and Hancock was already getting taken advantage of by Trevor Lawrence in that game against the Jaguars. We should expect that with Sean Payton and Bo Nix in this upcoming game. However, I'm looking at Darnell Savage right now, and I'm wondering if the team is going to prep him to be in that safety 2 role. We'll see if that happens, but Kincaid also, maybe just some precautionary news with him that he had another walking boot on. What in the world? Dalton First Aid, man. This guy needs to get in the game and be consistent. I get that we can't control injuries, but regardless, that's so frustrating. We absolutely need him against this Broncos defense this upcoming week. Sean McDermott did clarify, though, that he should be fine. Another one, a guy who is just who almost had a huge blocked punt on Sunday, Tyrell Shavers, the man, the myth, the legend. This guy who plays to the whistle on every single snap, evaluating a knee injury. We haven't quite heard word on what that is. We'll probably hear in a day or two. But a couple other things here. Josh Allen, we know he, again, just like Gabe Davis, has absolutely been putting his body on the line, whether it be his ankle, whether it be his knee, whether it be his fingers, or whether it be getting sat on by Josh Hines Allen and just assuming that that's fine or whatever and not getting called for penalty. I'm not bitter, but all of it. Josh Allen has looked spry. Josh Allen has looked like a menace. He's looked like a force. It doesn't matter if Nick Bonito and this Broncos, attack, who's leading the NFL in sacks, gets after Josh Allen, because he is going to get back up and he is going to throw more touchdowns or run for more touchdowns, whatever it is. This guy, he goes to the medical tent multiple times a game and comes out and he's like, I'm good. I'm a cyborg. It doesn't matter what you do. He is trudging down the field and our offense is going to score points. Maybe just some Trey White love here before I get back into Josh Allen. Guys, some of these older vets on our team, the Shaq Thompsons, the Trey Whites, even the Jordan Phillips, who's out now, like, they have been so pivotal, key cogs of this 2025 campaign. This season has been so patched up in light of some of these massive injuries to the Hoyts and the suspensions and all these other things with Ed Oliver and everything. We have had some amazing play from some of these older guys. You got to give Brandon Beane some sort of credit on that one, guys. But a couple other things. I want to talk about Josh Allen for just about a minute or so. Guys, if you look at Josh Allen's performance yesterday, I don't need to remind you of this, but if you look at Josh Allen's performances in years past in the NFL, you'd be like, man, this dude is amazing. Can I just tell you, he is better and greater than amazing. He's all world. He's GOAT level playoff caliber player. He literally is amazing. First in total touchdowns per game, first in total yards per game, first in total interception rate per game, second in completion percentage per game, passer rating, third overall all time. This is a man on a mission. If I was the Denver Broncos, I'd be like, I don't know if you saw this today, but the Denver Broncos opened up as actually the Bills opened up as the betting favorites in this Broncos-Bills divisional matchup, number one seed versus the Bills. Yet for some reason, we look at this and there's worry in people's minds that this is a good defense. You know what? The Jags were a good defense too, but Josh Allen in the playoffs is a different animal. He is a monster. He is unstoppable. He will bring the ball down the field. He will figure out a way. He will throw a perfect dime. He'll run the ball. It doesn't matter. Josh Allen is our quarterback. We can beat anybody on any given Sunday. It's the rhetoric. And again, just look at these efficiency metrics right on the screen. We've got in the middle of the screen, we've got the Staffords and the Mays and even Caleb Williams, who had a good game, and even Love up there. All of those guys who had, frankly, had pretty good games on Sunday in some respects. And even, again, May and Stafford as these MVP caliber quarterbacks and having these MVP seasons. It doesn't matter. They're in the center of the graph. Josh Allen says, from an EPA standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint, I am number one. It's clear. The best and most valuable player in this playoff journey so far, in one game, of course, is Josh Allen, but it's also true beyond the playoffs. Couple other things here. 26-4 touchdown to interception ratio. Leads the league in the NFL history by far. Yes, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and even some of these other guys on this list have had great careers and great playoff, runs and everything. Patrick Mahomes, I don't need to harp on this, but again, just adding some flavor to the context. He's been incredible since he's been in the league in the playoffs, but it doesn't matter. Josh Allen's efficiency, touchdown to interception ratio has been amazing. If we're going to win against the Broncos this week, this sort of stuff does need to continue. There's not a huge margin for error, but the one guy who doesn't need a margin for error because of his name, because of who he is Josh Allen. We have everything we need. Tony Dungy tweeted this today, and he was talking about really just the unfair advantage that the Broncos have now going into this divisional matchup against the Bills. Now, he basically said this. The Broncos have a bye week, and the Bills have now a short week against the number one seed. It's not fair. It's from a sportsmanship, from a competitive standpoint, I think you got to change the system. I think you got to figure things out, and you could read this tweet on the screen and break it down more, and process it more, but maybe here's the thing. Here's the simple solution for this. Let's just say we play all the AFC games on Saturdays, all the NFC games on Sunday, and every year that flips. And so the Super Bowl always on Sunday on that last week. But every single year, there's a little bit of disadvantage for one of the conferences. But even within that, it gives fair play in conference matchup. But in some sense, maybe you're sitting there, you're like, well, just be better. Just win just get the bye, and you'll be fine. You don't have to deal with this. Maybe. maybe that's a take that you could have. But regardless, I do think it's time to change a system like this for the sportsmanship of it, for a little bit more parity in the league. But one of the things that I do want to acknowledge, and I want to acknowledge Sean McDermott and just what he's done here over the last handful of seasons. But one thing to note too with this bye week and what Tony Dungy was talking about is I look at Sean Payton, and you can talk about his maybe some of the character things and some of the controversies around him and his coaching with the Bounty Gate and all that stuff. But when you look at Sean Payton, he's a good coach. He's going to put his players in a position to succeed. And a lot of the time, these good, I dare say Hall of Fame level tier of coaches, he's had a good run. This guy is going to put his players in a position to succeed. The extra rest really helps for a coach like Sean Payton to put his players in a position to succeed. And we want to see that with Sean McDermott. And the context really here does matter. We're flying back from Jacksonville. We're getting back up to Buffalo. We've got some R&R, some rest and recuperation, some trying to get healthy, trying to figure out who's going to be on the active roster this upcoming week. We got some practices, and then we got to fly across the country again and go play the Broncos. Woe is me. Say what you want, but this stuff matters. We're on a short week already. We got to travel multiple times across the country. That's going to be used to the advantage of the Broncos for sure. Does that mean that I don't think that the Buffalo Bills can win? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I do think it is very much a strategic advantage to have the home field advantage, and we don't have it. And we're going to have to play. If this is our year, if this really is the year that we're going to make the push, then we're going to have to play our minds out on Sunday, or the team is going to have to play their minds out on Sunday. But Sean McDermott here, 9 years ago today, was hired. In that time, guys, eight playoff appearances. 17-year drought, of course, broken, 5 division titles, 8 playoff wins. Now we want to see that number pumped up this year. We just need 3 more wins. That's all we need. But even within that, I expect Sean McDermott to get this team ready for another powerful, good matchup on Sunday. Say what you want against the coordinators. I look though at Sean McDermott, and I'm really appreciative of his coaching, of his leadership. He's consistent. Yeah, he's a little chalky at times. Yeah, there's some times where it's like I want some more out of him. But this is a good coach. This is a good man to follow. But in all of it, man, I hope you have a great day. I hope you're getting excited for this matchup. Maybe drop down in the comments what are your greatest hesitations or fears in this matchup that we're going to have against the Broncos on Saturday. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But in all of it, have a great day. God bless. Go Bills.